Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, let me see who was here first. That's always interesting to find out. Um, yep, that's who was here first. I'm not sure how to say that because of those numbers again. I looked into the number thing yesterday and I couldn't figure anything out. I don't know. So, has anybody else encountered that on any other channels? Please let me know. Um, I don't know what could have possibly have changed in the settings, but gosh, I hope it's not here to stay. But yeah, definitely something is different. So, not really sure how to remedy that. Um, okay, but you know who I need to talk to? I need to talk to um um BS Speaks Royally. She usually has the answers. That's who I need to speak to because otherwise I am just stumped. Um but yeah, I don't like it either. I don't like it either, to be honest with you. It is a bit of a hassle. So as soon as I can figure out something, then I can figure out something and you know, we will have seen the last of that. That's for sure. And yes, I am multitasking right now. That's something I forgot to do yesterday. I'd like to do it before it shows up. Remember, we were having something like a Twilight Zone moment yesterday? some very, some very cryptic like moments. And I had meant to fix that so we wouldn't have to deal with that again. Just came from out of the blue, don't you know? I'm just like, what the what? I felt like I was in Area 51. That's right. Area 51, Studio 54. Okay. Sometimes I say Studio 51, Area 54. Okay, let me see. Oh, I got to bring the slides up, don't I? While I'm multitasking. Let me do that. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Oh, fudge. I didn't mean to do that one. Let me try that again. Uh, Fiddlesticks. Sorry about my language. Try that again. Nope, that didn't work. Um, mm, mm. Let me see. Oh, I know what I need to do. No worries. I got it. Okay. There might be an echo right now. Let me close this out. Oh, do you mean to tell me how long has the sound been off? And I'm just talking? Lord have mercy, I'm just talking and there's no sound. Well, thank you so much, Church Nelly. Thank you for 47 months. Thank you, Rositas Consitas, for the 36 months. And Mackenzie, thank you for 31 months. And Wisdom Jones, thank you for the super sticker. How in the world did I cut the sound off? That is so weird. Well, anyway, sorry about that. I don't know how I cut the sound off. How long has it been off? Oh man, let me see here. Looks like it's been off for a while. Oh, okay. Thank you very much. That's a good idea. Sorry about that. My goodness, I didn't even notice. I guess when I fixed the whatever, I forgot to turn the mic on. Oh well, I would repeat everything I said, but anyway, by now you all probably have read this thing up here. All I said, in case anyway, it was just that it was kind of strange that that was coming from the Express, the newspaper Express. Yeah, there it is. That is the sound. Yeah, it's just very strange that that came from the Express. And of course, they have a body language expert that agree that the Sussexes um, are very much in love and that is genuine. And of course, it seems as though every emotion that Harry has, the Duchess of Sussex reciprocates. And then I was saying that it's just amazing how they were vilified for their PDA. And now those copycats are doing everything in their power to convince the world, with a lot of coaching and direction, to convince the world that they too are in love with each other. You know, it is very desperate on their part. And I have to say, I can't blame them for trying, but I blame them for being terrible people. But I don't blame them for trying so hard because it is literally the survival of the monarchy that they pull off this ruse of being deeply in love with each other when the truth is something very, very different. Let's see. SB, you just love the podcast. Thank you so much for the PayPal. Gosh, that was loud. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. Oh, that was very nice. Thank you very much. Okay, let's go on to the next one here. So I said to myself, let me find a couple of photos that reinforce the idea that they're still in love with each other. And they always have been. Take a look at this one right here. I love this. This is from, what was it, the Bondi Beach in Australia. And of course, that one right there. That kind of reminds me of the way Michelle Obama used to try her best to kind of tease and embarrass Barack Obama in front of, I guess, world leaders. And anyway, yeah, I love that exchange between the two of them here. I mean, can you see why they were such a big hit when they went to Australia? The thing that I hate about the hate campaign more than anything else, what I hate about the hate campaign, the invisible contract, this war against the Sussexes, is because this is just Harry and Meghan being themselves. and they were severely punished by the establishment, by the firm, the institution. They were severely punished um, because of the way that they are with each other, which is really a shame. Um, it's just if you're in someone's shadow because you're just not big enough on your own, um, all I can say is just try to play to your own strengths. I think a secure person, which of course William is not, and of course Kate is not, they're not very secure people. They're not comfortable in their own skin. But if they were, they could just go on about their lives. But instead, they used the full force of Kensington Palace, the invisible contract, the tabloid newspapers to go after the Sussexes. And still, um, everybody knows who's actually in love and who's play acting. Full stop. Everybody knows. Okay, let's go on to something else. Oh, and this one right here. You know what? I meant to, I just put these up, but I'm going to share them again because I love it so much. So let me go ahead and grab those. Let me see. Let me see. Ah, there we go. The wedding night. Yes, the wedding night. The black and white photos that I shared the other day. These, of course, are from the docuseries, which I think I'm going to watch that again. I really do want to see it again now. I've only ever watched it the one time. Why don't we all watch it? Yeah, why don't we all watch it? Let's all watch the docuseries. Okay, wouldn't that be cool? We'll just all watch it again. Joan Garcia, Baron, and the beat goes on. Thank you very much for the super chat. And thank you for being a member. And Elaine Parker, thank you for the super sticker. And thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Okay. And of course, this one, still want to hear Harry singing. I don't know if he was just playing or singing. It is unchanged, though. You know that? It is unchanged. The way that they glance at each other, it is unchanged. It is amazing the way that they are just so connected. And the fact that everyone says so. Everyone says so. Anyone who's ever been around them say they are the same away from the camera as they are in front of the camera. And of course, this one right here, love that one. And those. You love when Harry would fix Meghan's hair? Absolutely. Yeah, I've seen him help her with her ponytail a couple times. Date night. That looks very much like a date night. I mean, look at the bliss in Harry's eyes. He's waited a whole lifetime for this, and it just makes me so mad that those hateful people feel this need to try to tear them down. So yes, I am going to watch that again. Probably this weekend, I am going to watch the docuseries. I've only watched it completely through one time, so maybe I'm overdue. And of course, we need a little chaser for that one. So let me cue up this chaser.
My wife.
My wife.
My wife.
My wife and I
My wife and I, for me and my wife. I'm so proud of my wife. My incredible wife, an amazing wife, a soulmate in my wife. Thank you, my love, the mother to my children, the love of my life.
And what I know about the two of them, and I wish the world knew how much they love these two people love each other. They found each other out of all these odds against them finding each other, they found each other, and the love that they have is really, really moving. And I just wanted to do anything I could to support them.
Isn't that funny? Sometimes you know when you meet someone.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you can see like what love is, and
Right.
you can tell right away.
Yeah, yeah. And if I don't have that, what she and Harry have, I don't want it.
Yes, there you go. There you go. If I don't have that, I don't want anything. Okay. All right. And let's go back over here. Wait, is that right? Yes, that one's it. Okay, and Travalyst. So, a Global Sustainability Award 2025, October 2025, London, UK, Sustainability Award. Now, I couldn't find anything else about this, but it's a Reuters event. Partnership of the Year Award, the Travalyst Coalition, and let's see, Prince Harry's Travalyst Coalition, which includes Google, Expedia, MasterCard, and many more, has been nominated for the Partnership of the Year Award by Reuters Events. We're honored to have been selected as a finalist in this category. And that, of course, comes from Travalyst. And just in case there's any confusion, the founder of Travalyst is Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. I repeat, he's the founder of Travalyst. There's, even though the British tabloid media tends to ignore that when they list his accomplishments, you may notice that they never include Travalyst. And I don't know why, because that is quite the accomplishment. The Duke of Sussex supports conservation groups in Africa and says he really became an environmentalist during a trip in 2012 to the Caribbean when a 7-year-old boy told him that England's environmental impact was damaging the coral reefs. After that interaction, he was inspired to start Travalyst, Travel and Catalyst, a nonprofit that provides people booking travel with emissions data so they can consider the most sustainable options. The aim is to help make a dent to the industry's carbon footprint. Tourism makes up about 11% of global greenhouse gas emissions. Travalyst worked with Google to create the Travel Impact Model, a free, publicly available methodology launched in 2022 that predicts per passenger CO2 emissions produced by upcoming flights. Travalyst coalition of partners, representing a combined market value of $3 trillion, includes top tech companies used by tourists like Booking.com, Expedia Group, MasterCard, Skyscanner, TripAdvisor, and Visa. On September 12th, Travalyst announced that its flight emissions data has appeared in 65 billion searches worldwide. Prince Harry has stressed that sustainable travel also means travel that boosts local economies and supports tourism businesses that hire local talent. He summed up Travelyst's mission at its 5th anniversary celebration on September 24th during Climate Week.
Hello, everybody. Can I ask you to take your seats if you haven't already done so?
To be joined here by our founder, Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, it's a really great honour. As fate would have it, our anniversary coincided perfectly with Climate Week, presenting us with a unique opportunity that we just couldn't let pass. We knew that we had to take advantage of this moment and make the most of it, bringing together celebration and purpose in one memorable occasion. Some of you might know, it also happened to coincide with another rather significant birthday. Sir, happy 40th. If you've recovered from the celebrations, I think you're good. We shall raise a toast to you later. And if you're lucky, we may sing a rendition of Happy Birthday. We're surrounded here today by a wonderful...
Tourism represents 10% of global GDP. The opportunity to drive positive social change is enormous. Our new data initiative aims to give us a clearer understanding of how tourism can be a genuine force for good.
Okay, just wanted to share that little bit with you from last September, I believe it was, when Prince Harry had all of those engagements at the United Nations. He was in, actually, he was in his best, like, speaking, engaging, all of that stuff. And then he went to Africa right after that. And there was so much energy. The energy was palpable. I thought he was incredible. So anyway, very proud of the Duke of Sussex for everything, especially choosing the right wife who has upped his fashion game. All right. Okay. Good on you, Harry. Let's see. Joan Garcia says, Barron, disturbing and crazy. A headline said, Beckham will be in charge of Invictus, not Prince Harry. If true, should Squatty start protesting loudly now? I've not seen anything like that. I don't know how something like that would be possible. I wouldn't put too much into that. That would be all over the news if that were the case. So I don't see that as a possibility. But I tell you what, keep your ear to the ground, and if we see something, then of course steps will have to be taken. But thank you so much for the super chat. Oh, and thank you for being a member. Yeah, but I haven't seen anything like that. Not at all. And I just got through prepping. So if something like that popped up, chances are I would have seen it. Let's see here. Travalyst. All right. So was it opera or Almax? The real story of William and Kate's super yacht holiday. You guys, this story just will not die. And you know what? I'm glad for it. It needs to live on because the tabloid media has not, the old guard, they have not approached this subject at all. There's been other outlets that have spoke about it, but not, the usual suspects. Okay, I think I need one of my Connie Balmer Ricolas. There we go. I think my voice is like weird today. Anyway, so I shared an article yesterday from Feminegra. And in that article, they were saying it, but not saying it at the same time. Now, I thought, well, maybe I'm just not understanding this right, you know? But then I saw, what's the one who says that she wants to, how does she say it? She wants to bring literacy, media literacy, you know, I'm so sorry, I forget her name. But anyway, she pretty much said the same thing, that they were saying it and not saying it at the same time. So I'm like, okay, then I'm not going crazy. They spoke about it. They shared the name of the vessels. They even pointed out that other media outlets were running stories about it. But the way they explained it was that a few locals thought they saw them or heard that they were there, but they weren't sure. Or I saw blacked out SUVs in a procession go by, but I didn't actually see who was in it. So they made it sound like it was a combination of, we know that William and Kate and the kids are here and the Middletons are here, but instead of it being the $450 million yacht, it was the $40 million yacht. See how they have the two photos? And God bless Feminegra for staying on top of this, because since people wouldn't stop talking about it, they decided that, well, let's just confound them by throwing some deliberately confusing information out there. And I guess the whole point of that is to wear people down and frustrate them so they won't speak of it anymore, or to try to make us doubt ourselves so that we just throw up our hands and say, well, I guess there's nothing to it. This is embarrassing for them. This is embarrassing. This is their 6th vacation in 2025, or at the very least since Christmas. This is their 6th vacation. They have gone to the island of Mystique. They've gone skiing, I believe, at least twice. But this, I believe, adds up to 6 vacations, 6 holidays, if you prefer to say that. And there seems to be no end in sight, because they really don't do anything for the summer. After the Wimbledon, they're off from work. And of course, at this time of year, the Queen would usually go up to Scotland, but now that Charles is on the throne, he and Godzilla, they're going to head up to Scotland. But this whole thing has gotten so out of hand, and they decided at the Daily Mail, why don't we just put some deliberately confusing stuff out there and then see what they do with that? Well, what we're going to do with it is we're going to keep talking about it. We're going to keep crying foul. That's what we're going to do with it. So let me grab that article, which I have hid from myself, unfortunately. Let me grab that article and we will get into it. So it says, Prince William and Kate Middleton's summer holiday in Greece has stirred questions that the palace and the media appear eager to avoid. At the heart of the issue is a mystery that goes beyond luxury or leisure. Which yacht hosted the heir to the throne? Opera, a mega yacht reportedly worth 450 million pounds, or linked also, and it's linked to UAE foreign minister, or Almax, a smaller but still lavish yacht reportedly seen by local eyewitnesses. The answer matters not for tabloid gossip, but for what it suggests about the royals' priorities, political associations, and how the media narratives are shaped. Now, there were, I'll show you here. Here's a couple of related stories right there. British media ignore Wales yacht controversy. while once implying Meghan Sussex was linked to a murder. And couple that with the public criticism grows as Prince William and Kate Middleton takes another vacation. Okay, now it continues. Greek reports point to opera. That is what the Greek report said. It reports that they were on board opera. On July 21st, Greek outlets Ephemerida something published a report claiming that William and Kate had been seen vacationing in Kefalonia with their children. Their story includes a distant but distinct photo of a mega yacht identified as Opera. Anchored offshore, the Opera belongs to Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed, a senior UAE official. Regional maritime tracking and photographs confirmed the yacht arrived near the island at the same time the royal couple was reportedly in the area. Greek local news described the visit as discreet and protected by tight security. Now, one thing that they mentioned in that Daily Mail article that sounded extremely plausible to me is that, you know, where they have that cave where you get on those like little gondolas or whatever, and you go under the cave and they have all those stalactites hanging, and the water seems like it's illuminated from the bottom because of the way the light plays in the cave. They said that it had been closed down for the day. That is very specific information, specific information that it had been closed down for the day. And I'm saying to myself, if it was not that party of people, because if you go to that area, you are going to want to see that. And if they're going to be discreet, they would close it down for their use that day. So I believe that that is very accurate. I really do believe that. Let's see. Now, here's something else. Greek outlet published photos of the 450 million pound yacht. 9 days later, the Daily Mail claimed the Welleses were on board a smaller vessel, the Almax. And that's what gets me. Why go through all that trouble to say that they were on a smaller vessel? If you did not want to talk about it, then you don't want to talk about it. The way that you know that they really did not want to talk about it is because when everyone else was reporting it, they said nothing. They said absolutely nothing. They didn't intend to speak about it. But I think with some careful instructions from the palace, from Kensington Palace, they finally decided to do this maybe, maybe not story to cast doubts. But wait, there was another way to deal with this, and I'm going to show you that very soon. This is just part one of trying to spin this so that it's just not so bad to the public. But let me finish this one first. So Daily Mail introduces new yacht and uses nostalgia to distract. They introduce a new yacht and use nostalgia to distract. A week later, the Daily Mail published its own report claiming the Wells family had not vacationed on Opera, but on a different yacht altogether. According to their coverage, a retired Greek civil servant named Penelope Lakuta something, recognized Princess Kate and two of the Wells children on the Almax, a $40 million, guess what, eco-friendly yacht, anchored off, Ithaca. Ithaca. Anyway, The mail's version include details about the yacht's features and Penelope's account, but omitted earlier Greek reporting that a widely identified the opera maritime tracking confirms that both yachts were in the region during the same time. Framed time frame that is, leaving room for either scenario or both. As I said, deliberately trying to confuse people. To add the historical weight of the story, the Mail invoked the memory of past royal visits to the Ionian Islands. British outlets and local memory often recalls Charles and Diana making honeymoon stop off that island in 1981. Diana later brought young William and Harry to the Greek islands, possibly in 1995. Press coverage and royal lore sometimes invoked the visits alongside Charles' 2012 Greek tour, frame William and Kate's recent trip in a nostalgic light, as though this is just like going to Royal Ascot. They always go here at least once a year. So, yeah, they're trying to make it nostalgic so it doesn't seem like, oh, this really wasn't just another in a whole series of vacations. This is like some duty that they do every year. The truth is, a 450 million pound yacht is a big deal. Witness bias and media double standard. The only named witness in the Daily Mail report, Penelope, openly expressed disdain for Harry and Meghan, telling the outlet, "I have no wish to see Harry and Meghan as I just can't stand them." Her statement, while seemingly casual, reveals a strong bias that casts doubt on her neutrality. Kate has been unwell and I hope their birthday helped them. This is a quote, by the way. "I hope they come back again, but I have no wish to see Harry and Meghan as I just can't stand them." You hear me? I just can't. I can't stand them. I just can't. I can't stand them. For now, I will treasure this special memory. I just wish I'd said hello. I don't know what accent I'm trying to do. Maybe we could have had a chat. So Penelope, the sole witness, quoted the Daily Mail article who claims to have seen the Wells family on board Almex, is what the outlet said. So, despite her account shaping the dominant British narrative, Greek outlets that first identified the opera as the Wellses' yacht have not issued correction. You hear that? The Greek newspapers are not correcting anything. They feel as though they were right in the first place. This divergence reflects how the British media selectively elevates certain voices to fit a preferred narrative. When Meghan wore earrings from a royal collection allegedly linked to Saudi Arabia, she faced a storm of accusations implying moral complicity in a journalist's murder. In contrast, William and Kate alleged discreet acceptance of luxury from a senior figure in an authoritarian regime has prompted no comparable media scrutiny, kind of like the cash for honors. The bigger question about royal transparency, this isn't just tabloid guessing game about which yacht floated there. It speaks to the heart of the monarchy's public image and political entanglement. William and Kate are not private citizens. They are the future king and queen of the nation that claim to uphold human rights, transparency, and accountability. If they accepted a vacation on board a yacht owned by a senior official of a foreign regime known for repression, that fact is relevant. The lack of clarity and media scrutiny points to a deeper unwillingness to confront uncomfortable realities of how the modern royalty operates. A mystery yacht in Greek waters may seem trivial, but in the context of the public trust, diplomatic optics, and institutional hypocrisy, it tells a much larger story. So there you go. I am totally outraged. I am outraged, and I intend to get to the bottom of it. Okay, so there you go, guys. It is a double standard if I've ever seen. The way that they went after Meghan about those earrings were completely outrageous, uncalled for, unnecessary, and it was actually very cruel. Very cruel. And the only reason why they did that was to make the impression to the public that Meghan was selfish and unconcerned. And the way they tell it is that the press, I mean, not the press, but the palace warned her, and she was very dismissive of that because she insisted she wanted. The thing is, the earrings were gifted for the wedding, right? If I'm correct, they were gifted for the wedding. At no point did they say, "Do not wear these earrings." As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that they insist that Meghan wear those earrings. The thing is, Meghan never wears earrings that big, ever. And that's the same as with the famous tiara gate. I couldn't see Meghan wearing that huge tiara when Meghan likes everything very low key. She likes things very simple, clean lines. So there was one tiara that really spoke to Meghan's aesthetic, and then the other one was a bit flashier. So yeah, what was it? Not jade. It was what is a greenstone? Anyway, I could not see Meghan wearing that thing. I don't think it was for her. But they insist that that's what Meghan wanted to wear, even though they warned her that, not the tiara, of course, the earrings. I don't think there was any such warning. I don't think Meghan knew the difference one way or the other. Someone like, I don't know, perhaps a Meghan Kelly, allegedly, someone suggested that, and then it was used as a weapon. And it was leaked from Kensington Palace. I don't even know that I don't even know if there was a public account of those earrings. That information would have had to have been leaked from inside the house. That was a leak. Do you guys know that there are jewels in royal collection that have not been seen for 70, 80, even 100 years? So vast is the collection. There are many pieces that have not been seen. There's tiaras that have come out in the 1950s and have never been seen again. There's no explanation as to what happened to them, but I can guarantee you this much. Many of the jewels, if not most of the jewels that Queen Elizabeth wore, were from some very shady situations, gifted to them from dictators, despots, you name it, and they happily received them and just threw them into the collection. So, and then they wonder, oh, well, they didn't have to leave. She should have just stayed. Everybody goes through it. No, not like that. Not like that. Everybody doesn't go through that. They don't deserve Meghan, and she deserves better than what they had to offer, plain and simple. That's why I cringe every time I see an old headline or something like that, or an old article that says that Jason Knopf was their communications secretary or communications whatever. No, Jason always worked for Will and Kate. Jason, Samantha Cohen, Kristen Jones, none of those people were there for the Sussexes. They were there to do other things, but work for them? No, I don't believe it. I mean, it just makes me feel really bad when I think about the fact that those kind of people were lurking around them day after day, misrepresenting, leaking to the press, all of that stuff. So they left, they stayed away for 12 months. And in 12 months, as Harry said on the Oprah interview, the leaking and the briefing would not cease. They kept up all this pressure for 12 months. So they go on the Oprah Winfrey interview to tell their side of the story. Hopefully, when they hear of the impact that all of this has had on the Duchess of Sussex, they thought they were going to walk away from that interview and that there would be something said about that. Well, not so much that, but the tabloid press ran away with the baby's skin color. It was they who branded the royal family as racist. That did not come from Harry's mouth. That did not come from Meghan's mouth. They say skin color. The press says racist. Well, they should know. As a matter of fact, they should probably look in the mirror. And this is an interesting article right here. Let me take a look at a couple of your comments before I get into that one. Okay. They're trying to play the public like a piano. They think that they're smart and everybody else is stupid. I hate those liars. Well, when you say piano, of course, I'm thinking of that piano that somebody supposedly played at Westminster Abbey, right? Remember when Kate did her impersonation, The Phantom of Westminster Abbey, where she sat there at that piano and pretended to play it? And the one thing that I would love for the public to know, but I'm afraid that most people would not even think about it if you don't tell them. Kate didn't even play the piano in front of the Westminster Abbey crowd. The people that were there in the church did not see her play the piano. They saw a recording. That recording happened either before or after the event. But Kate did not play the piano live in front of anyone. That did not happen. That was recorded. She had to put the same clothes on and then sit at the piano and grin like a hyena. Smoke and mirror, smoke and mirror. Much to do about nothing. Yeah, people are really talking about this vacation thing. They are trying to downplay it, but there's a lot of people talking about it, especially in the comment sections. They have been going to town on the comment sections. Okay. Well, now that I'm sure Oprah owns the interview, but now that CBS is under new ownership, they have managed to dismantle a lot of things at CBS that made them special. So, you know, I guess this is as good a time as any because nobody's really watching legacy television like they used to. Legacy television is dying a slow death, and I say good riddance because they are going so right wing. I have no use for them anymore. Everyone's on social media, and as I shared that graph, what was that? Yesterday, maybe? I'll show you again. In terms of people's viewing habits, I mean, they still have a huge chunk of the business, but as you can see, they're second to Disney, the Disney, which owns ABC and all of their other things. Look at there. They're only getting 10%, which is still a lot. That is still a lot. But when it comes to media distributor or distribution, if you will, they are getting 10%. And everyone else is under them. Whereas YouTube is getting 12.8%. So more people are viewing YouTube than they are viewing Disney. More people are viewing YouTube than Netflix or NBC Universal, Paramount, or Fox. You see there? And when you get further down, you got so many people fighting for scraps. This is what's happening to legacy television. So they're not in such a strong position anyway. If I had to go and look at something on my local television, I can't figure out, as long as I've had this TV, I don't know how to bring up the local channels. I don't. I'm very frustrated, but I cannot bring up the local channels. I have an antenna, but it's not working as well. So I only get a few of the local channels with one of those, what is it, digital antennas or whatever. So I don't even bother with it. So yeah, good riddance, legacy television. Okay, let's get to this then. So Medium has an article, Praise as Poison, How the British Press Exploited Meghan Sussex to Stoke Royal Tensions. Okay, so there have been articles that have been very complimentary, but those articles were used to actually ignite anger in some very loyal monarchists, as well as the rest of the royal family. If you look at that page on the bottom right, you see that? There's the Queen, who is not prominent there. There's Kate on the left. She's not prominent. Who's prominent on that page? Meghan. Meghan. It was all about Meghan. And I'm pretty sure that when they were negotiating that invisible contract, which is a real thing, the invisible contract, I am pretty sure that things like this were discussed. Harry even said that when they left the UK, their hope was that the tabloid newspapers would feature Will and Kate. He said, we're going to leave and that they can have all of it. They can have their pictures and such. And of course, that was very naive to believe that that was going to happen. I don't think anyone could know that at the time the Sussexes left, there would still be so much interest in everything that they do. But the reason why is because of the tabloids. They're making so much money by making people click on these articles. So essentially, this article, it read that the tabloids used Meghan to infuriate certain people into responding with hate. That was the whole point of it, was to get them to respond with hate. And it worked. It was like putting some bait out there, hoping that they would bite, and bite they did. So I'll just share a little bit of this with you. Praise is poison, how the British press exploited Meghan Sussex to stoke royal tensions. Deceptively flattering headlines, strategic photo placements, and weaponized visibility. How the UK media played a double game with Meghan Sussex at the center. From the outside, it looked like praise. Meghan's tribute to the fallen. Read the Daily Mail's front page after the 2019 Festival of Remembrance. The photo, a glowing Duchess of Sussex. Smaller images of Queen Elizabeth and Kate Middleton flanked her on the side, almost an affront. Zoom image will be displaced, but the headline wasn't just praise. It was a provocation. Behind the palace gates, dynamics were tense. The press knew it. And what looked like flattering coverage of Meghan Sussex was often a calculated move in a bigger game, stoking jealousy, resentment, and division within the royal family. The more the public saw Meghan elevated, the more the tabloids knew they could count on royal leaks, terse statements, and brewing animosity, a pattern of provocation. When the UK press claims it welcomed Meghan with glowing coverage, this is what they're talking about. But it was never unconditional praise. It was strategic, transactional. That was the whole point of it, was to infuriate the courtiers, to infuriate the royal family, and of course, some of the monarchists that never liked Meghan in the first place. That was the whole point of it, was to get their backs up, get them angry. And thus the plotting and the scheming within the royal household started. Or should I say, it was escalated. Well, either way, it was very effective. It was very temporary. It was not going to last. Meghan was new to the family. They knew what people wanted. They knew what people expected. And even with these articles that were praising Meghan at the time, they always had a bunch of hand-wringing, oh, she doesn't understand this, and she's going to have to do better with that, and so on and so on. There was always something negative thrown in there, always some unreasonable critique that was added to any of those big featured articles about the Duchess of Sussex. So it was never all of that. It was just mostly big, bright pictures, lovely photos and everything. But once you get into the article, they were very prickly. That is how I remember it. Not an easy time. And of course, when Meghan wore, I believe that was the Dior, that was for the 100th anniversary of the RAF. That's what the occasion was, which is why Harry and his dim-witted brother are in those RAF uniforms, is because it was to celebrate their centennial. And then, of course, here comes the nastiness. Meghan made Kate cry. See there? Very short-lived. Very short-lived. After so many, and remember, oh no, I was going to say, no, Kate was there that day. There was that one occasion at Westminster Abbey when Kate was not there, but this is not that occasion. I had to think about that for a second. Yeah, how that happened, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that happened, but it was said that somebody did not like the idea of Meghan wearing Diana's tiara. And so it was thought, oh, we should loan her one from the royal collection. And again, that was another setup. That was a setup. That was a setup. And as Harry said in his book, you know, the tiaras are kind of heavy, and they recommend that you should wear them for a while, you know, just throughout the day so that you can get used to the weight of it. Well, Meghan didn't have much time to wear the tiara because Angela Kelly just refused to bring it. And Harry, of course, got very angry. And of course, he said whatever he said. She said what, and of course, you know, Harry, ever the gentleman, is like, why are you doing this? Is what he asked Angela Kelly in so many words, according to his book. But Angela Kelly made herself central to the whole thing about the tiara. Everything was designed to frustrate Meghan, like with the bridesmaid's dress. All of those things were designed to frustrate her. And then, of course, her sister-in-law shows up wearing white on her wedding day. That was a deliberate provocation. Kate Middleton shows up wearing white on Meghan's wedding day. She balanced it by wearing a hat that had just a hint of yellow, but the dress was white. The dress was not yellow, it was white. I have proof that it was white. She wore it 5 times, and each time it was mentioned, they said it was a white Alexander McQueen dress, that very same dress. So either the tabloids are lying or the dress was white. And that's what Kate showed up with, a white dress at Meghan's wedding. She wore some kind of, I guess, dusty rose or mauve or something like that to her sister's wedding. She wore maroon or burgundy to, I don't know, one of the York sisters' wedding. But for Meghan, only white will do. And who called her out about that? Nobody. Only the Sussex squad. And of course, this was the night where Meghan's image was the larger. And of course, the Sussexes, you can see them all the way on the back to the right. And even that, they made a big deal of that the Sussexes were not allowed to sit with most of the royals. As you can see, they actually have Harry and Meghan behind Andrew, the sick old man, and even the prime minister. See how they got them pushed back there? They have Will and Kate in a very prominent position, which is where they're supposed to be. They have Charles and Godzilla, very prominent. You have the lower ranking Wessexes, right? You have the lower ranking Princess Royale and her husband, but the Sussexes are pushed back in the corner somewhere. Who cares? Because when the paper came out, who was front and center? Meghan. Not Harry, Meghan. Not Meghan and Harry, Meghan. They went through all that trouble to make sure that they were not seated near them, only for the papers to come out and it was all about Meghan. Sounds about right. I know I've said this 1,000 times, but I'll say it again. Harry and Meghan upstaged the Queen at her own funeral. They upstaged the Queen, not their fault, but they did. They didn't think enough of the woman who sat on the throne for 70 years to make the funeral about her. They didn't think enough of Charles and Camilla to make the funeral about them. And certainly not Will and Kate. It was all about Harry and Meghan, where they are, what they're doing. Was that them on a plane? That was all they cared about. You may recognize that. That, of course, is Adelaide Cottage. It looks like a storybook, like a fairy tale. Isn't that beautiful? Who wouldn't want to live there? The Cambridges, I guess, or the Welleses, because they're trying to get the heck out of there. After making such a big deal about this being their forever home, the kids got to go to school and so on and so forth, now they want to move to a castle. Now, let me see here. I got to take a sip of water. I don't know what's happening to my voice today. Okay. Now they want to move to that castle. The thing is, when they moved to Admiral Hall, they evicted a family that was already there and they did not want to leave. But they had to. The Queen kicked them out. And so the Weston family, who lives at this other castle on the grounds of the Windsor estate, it looks like they're going to get evicted, maybe. Some people think Charles is not going to allow them to have it. That's one of the things I heard. But Charles also was not going to allow them to completely move into Windsor Castle. Now, I maintain that William does have an apartment there. I just believe that. But I don't think the whole family is there just yet. And wherever they end up, I'm pretty sure that whenever William becomes king, if he and Kate is still together, either I'm going to just say this: they're going to elevate the Middleton family. I really do believe that the Middletons are going to end up in one of those grace and favor places. Let's see. Kavan Slim says Harry and Meghan left the UK so the other royals could get the front page. And even in exile, Harry and Meghan still get the front page. Thank you very much for the super chat. And yep, that's exactly what I was trying to say, is that Harry said that that was the one thing that they hoped, is that they could have the front page and that the press would leave them alone. Hopefully they would leave them alone. And really, letting them have the front page was not to serve the press, but to serve Will and Kate. Hopefully, by them having the front page, they would stop all of the leaking and the briefing. And that's just what frustrates me so much, is that the pattern of leaking and briefing to the tabloids continues. It never stopped. These are coordinated attacks on the Sussexes. Well-planned, coordinated attacks, which is why it was so silly to believe that the Sussexes would be willing to give their itinerary to the royal family so that there won't be any conflicts. I mean, I had to laugh at that because the idea that the Sussexes were going to disrupt um, Camilla Godzilla's birthday, I don't know how that's possible. It's not like there was going to be a marching band or fireworks or anything like that. Nobody cared that it was her birthday. She'd be lucky if her family celebrates. She was lucky to get a tweet from Kensington Palace. But it's not like uh, Camilla's birthday is a national holiday. Nobody was interested. Nobody cared. And they tried to make people believe that it was because Harry was dominating the front page on her birthday that we need to do this. Nobody cares about that old bat's birthday. Since when is that news? Anyway, thank you very much for the super chat. And let's see. S. Okay, that's S. Thank you so much for the super sticker. And again, I apologize for all of those superfluous numbers. I have no idea how that happened. Absolutely none. I wish I could do something about it, but I just don't know what I can do. Okay. Yeah, I better not touch that. Okay, let me see what happens when I do this. Oh no, I'm never mind. I'm gonna leave it for now. I don't have the courage. I'll wait till I get closer to the end. But I don't have the courage to try to change something right now. Okay. Hello, Beverly McCaskill, Dolores Thomas. And let's see, Arrington W. Terry H. Okay. So, money. It always comes down to money. And every time they do a renovation, there's money attached. Oh, yeah. An overly generous Abu Dhabi prince offered his ultra secretive 450 dollars a pound super yacht, right? So, this is what I was alluding to earlier. Prince William's powerful new move to fight homelessness in London. This literally came out today. Literally came out today because they have been called out on this super yacht vacation. Now, William has decided that he has a powerful new move to fight homelessness in London. All of a sudden, even while he's on vacation, he has been spurned into working. He's taken a working vacation, I guess, to make sure that the public doesn't eat him alive. He decided that he's going to fight for the homeless, even while he's on vacation. And if you take a look there on the right side, there's the big issue. Why I sowed the big issue. Well, I remember there was a guy with a camera following William around days before his birthday. William only got in touch with the big issue so that he would look like that he had, so it would look like he had done something for his 40th birthday, I think is what it was, right? He wanted to give the impression that he cared about something. I mean, it was all so contrived and superficial. All of a sudden, he's on the street selling those magazines or newspapers. Now, if you don't know what the big issue is, the big issue is just we have something in Chicago called Streetwise. There's something in New York, I don't know what the name of it is, but all of the big cities, they have those papers. This way, people that are homeless or at risk of homelessness, if they've been to a shelter or whatever it is, they have an opportunity to buy those papers at a very reduced price, and they can use their lanyard with their ID or their vest or whatever, and they can take to the streets and sell those papers mostly to tourists or anyone who, they say hello to on their commute. They will buy those papers. And it's a great thing. I mean, it gives you a little dignity, right? You're not going out picking through trash and stuff like that. You actually can work. It's something anybody can do. It's as simple as that. Anyone can do it. So they have lots of urban subjects inside of those papers. I think it is a great idea, right? Contrary to belief, they're not ripping those people off. It is a not for profit situation. And yes, they have to buy the papers, but they are not paying a very big price for them. I don't know what they pay per copy, but you know, and of course, if someone's buying the paper, let's say if the paper is $3, if they have $5, you're going to keep the change, right? So, not a bad deal. Or in this case, £5, £2, whatever it is. They're going to give you something extra, I'm sure. Kevon Slim says when Harry and Meghan got that mansion in Cali, it broke those people over there, and they never, ever, ever, never, ever recovered. Thank you, Kevon, for the super chat. And that is true. That house with its 16 bathrooms, oh my God, that keeps them up at night. And even now, they still give you the bathroom count. And it is a beautiful house. Oh my God, that house is beautiful. I don't know who could not thrive living in that situation. It has so many elements to it, just it's lofty, but a bit understated. So, and of course, the color palette, oh, it just screams Meghan, right? Let's see. Is it Carolyn Baker? Thank you so much for the 39 months membership. Let's see, Baron, those images were actually for his documentary on homelessness. I tried to watch it, but couldn't stomach it. Are you talking about William selling those papers? Well, they oh yeah, let me tell you how I read it at the time. So the images came out of William selling those papers. And I remember saying on Royal Sussex, I said, he's only doing that for his birthday. He's trying to look busy and engaging for his birthday. And originally, they wanted us to believe that William just happened to go out there that particular night, right before his birthday, and just happened to have had someone snap his picture. The thing is, there was a videographer following him around, or a photographer that followed him around. So the original photos that we saw were taken by just bystanders, people surprised walking down the street. But the images that he shared was for something a bit sleek and glossy and all that kind of stuff. So there were the initial photos, and then there was William out there wearing his Omega watch or something expensive. I cannot believe he wore that to go and sell those papers, by the way. Yeah, so it was all put together just in time for his birthday. Busy work. That's what it is. Busy work. Well, anyway, thank you so much for 39 months membership. You know what, though? I'm going to show you something I thought was absolutely snarky. I don't know how this happened, but if you ask me, somebody was trying to embarrass Charles III. Remember, he was on the cover of the big issue. Let me see if I can find it. And then I want you to tell me what you see. I'll tell you what I see, but I want to give you a chance first. Oh, this is just so diabolical. I love it. If I can find it. Oh, come on. It's got to be there. If not, I will find it another way, but I'm just hoping I can get it from here. Okay. So far, that ain't working out for me. Keep scrolling, keep scrolling. Okay, this may require alternative means. But in the meantime, I'll put a little eye candy on the screen while I find it, okay? Okay, I found it. I found it. This is so messy. I love it. I love it. I love how messy this is. Oh, come on. There we go. I love how messy this is. Okay, are you ready? Here it comes. Now, did you notice that when they put Charles on the big issue, that the cover, the cover is in the same colors as Not My King? Huh? Was that deliberate? I think it was. I think it was. Somebody was trying to send Chucky a message. How messy is that? I mean, is every big issue cover yellow and black? Oh, man. That had to be on purpose. It just had to be. Let me see here. The big issue. Okay, big issue magazine. No, they're not all yellow and black. I think they reserved that just for Charles. So yeah, this was a special edition that Charles, I believe, edited or guest edited or something like that. And what colors did they use? Yellow and black. Oh man, that is messy. Let's see. Is it Carolyn Baker or is it Carolyn? Carolyn. Let me see. It's Words Do Matter. Okay, Words Do Matter. The videographer was filming that documentary. Same people he talked to on the street were in the film. Oh, okay. Thank you so much for that correction. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for the super chat. That is so messy. I love that for him, though. Okay, so Prince William is backing the building of a new home of new homes, plural, in an underserved part of London. The Prince of Wales has seen his project for the unhoused make new inroads into solving part of the problem with a new partnership that is set to help young people, young homeless people, that is. Yeah, young homeless people. His 5-year Homewards mission aims to make homelessness rare, brief, and unrepeated. As William puts it, operating across 6 areas of the UK, it is trying locally based innovations and ideas to combat the issue. Now, in Lambeth, South London, 16 new homes are set to be. Are they still setting to build them? How are they not broken ground yet? Anyway, 16 new homes are set to be built in partnership with the Duchy of Cornwall and the Centrepoint charity that William is patron of. Lambeth is the 3rd area to have new housing, following Aberdeen in Scotland and Sheffield in northern England. And let me see, Homewards has also spearheaded the Duchy of Cornwall's new housing project in, what is that, Neslenden in Cornwall. So I cannot believe that they have not broken ground yet. I cannot believe that. It's just, what are they waiting for? Let's see here. Joy Moore, thank you so much for the what is that, super sticker? Yeah, thank you so much for the super sticker. Okay. Okay, let's see here. And by the way, you guys, just so you know, William is in a very, very touchy situation with this whole housing thing. Now, he could just build housing on his duchy anytime he wants to. Just like Charles created that pound land or whatever that place was. Remember that whole community that Charles created? William could do something very similar, right? Without a big fuss. But that's not the point. The point is to make sure that everybody knows that he is trying to do something to help people. Also, as the Duchy of Cornwall is under his control now, there are other ways that he could help. They have, he could do rent reductions for people that are leasing their cottages. He can do a rent reduction. And that money will circulate into the community. If you discount their lease, then they'll be more apt to spend money on other things. But so far, we heard that either the duchy is not going to accept money from some of the charities and public entities, but I have not heard of any type of savings for his tenants. But he is not moving fast enough. I do not believe he's committed. He's doing busy work. All of this time that he's been talking about it, and we have yet to see them break ground. But he's in a tight position, and I guess I didn't explain why. The housing crisis is political. Now, a lot of the people that vote on the laws that would help build new housing, well, those people actually are landlords themselves. They do not want to flood the market with new housing. They want there to be a scarcity so they can make as much money as possible. That's why I said housing the homeless is political. It really is political. And I don't think that he has his heart in it. I really don't. I do believe that he's just doing busy work. He's buying his time until he becomes king. And then after that, I can guarantee you homelessness is not going to be a big priority for him. It clashes too much with politics. Just like there were certain things that Charles could say as the Prince of Wales that the king had better not say. They do not expect any of the royals to be political. And Charles, as the Prince of Wales, was notoriously political, firing off letters to people about things and expecting a response, which almost all the time he got those. But I doubt if William is going to throw his weight around like that. He's going to continue to do busy work and try to convince people that he's actually changing something. I don't even think he's trying, to be honest with you. Okay, and that brings us to Charles. The disquiet at Highgrove and the gardener's exodus. Memos fired off by the monarch to correct grammar and demand single flower be moved are wrecking morale, that is, among staff who are paid as little as minimum wage. Okay, so this spot of bother, we did a big thing about this the other day, right? About how up to 11 people quit. They couldn't take it anymore. They had to get out of there because Charles was being very, very crude, very rude, or should I say, and also somewhat bullying. Now, this just did not sit right. And the palace was really caught off guard. So today in People magazine, Clarence House has tried to respond. Oh, excuse me. Pardon me. Sorry about that. They have tried to respond. Okay. King Charles, former gardener, reveals his strict instructions amid reports of staff drama. They are trying to neutralize this. They are doing their best to neutralize it. So what do you need to know? Former Highgrove gardener Jack, is it Stokes? Looks like Stokes. Anyway, shares how the king kept tabs. The former gardener, King Charles' cherished Highgrove house, country home, has shared more about the royal management style. Let me see. He spoke after a dispute involving the Highgrove gardeners recently made headlines. 11 out of 12 gardeners at Highgrove have reportedly left since March of 2022 amid rumblings of low pay and high demands. So on July 20th, the Sunday Times published a report alleging that 11 out of 12 gardeners at Highgrove had left since March of 2022 amid rumblings of low wages and high demands. The outlet claims that at one point, half of the gardeners' employees were paid minimum wage, and 2 head gardeners were among the people who quit. People understands that one grievance was reported in 2024 to 2025 out of almost 500 staff. Okay, so right there, they are trying to minimize it. They want to minimize this by pointing out that there was one grievance reported from 2024 to 2025 out of 500 staff. Okay, now the 500 staff, I don't think they all work at Highgrove. I think this is spread out amongst the royal household, right? So, yes, there were 11 people out of 12 that left since 2022. But to minimize that, they have People magazine report that only one person left since 2024, 2025. Okay. I don't know if that's helpful, but it does kind of take the sting out of it. At least that's what they think. It was further reported that the King's Foundation brought a specialist human resources consultancy which upheld claims about staff shortages, inadequate management practices, and low pay. So they then went outside and contracted someone to take a look at this. So, on the one hand, they want us to know that Charles is doing his best to allow them to air their grievances and improve the morale. But on the other hand, the fact you had to bring someone into a 1,000-year-old institution because of employment issues, whatever happened, it was so toxic that the people working at Highgrove, I mean, I would think that that would be a real honor working for His Majesty the King, but they were treated so poorly that they left. 11 of them left since 2022. Charles must have been a real pain in the neck. So they're trying to downplay it by telling us they brought in a specialist for human resources, but at the same time, you're telling us that you had to bring in a specialist for human resources. I don't know if that's helpful or not, because a specialist implies that there was something wrong. But I'm glad this happened. I just wish it was Kensington Palace more than Clarence House. But I am so glad that this happened, because they have gone after the Sussexes so many times about staff turnover. And these people don't even have to work directly with anybody. They're out there in the garden. It's not like they're sitting in an office. They're out in the garden, a very large estate. And yet things are so bad, they had to run for the hills. A spokesperson for the King's Foundation said in a statement to People magazine, at the King Foundation, a King's plural foundation, we take staff welfare extremely seriously and strive to be an exemplary employer. We are proud to regularly report very high satisfaction rates in our annual staff survey. You have a staff survey? So those reports are so high that 11 people left since 2022? Couldn't be that good. If you ask me, there's something rotten in the land of cotton. Our staff turnover is well below the national average. If you have to tell us that, then it probably isn't. But our staff turnover is well below the national average. as is the number of formal grievances raised. For the gardening team at Highgrove, especially, we regularly review guidance from the Professional Garden Guide for a bench. What's that? Bench making? It continues. Professional Garden Guild for pay benchmarking, not making benchmarking. It okay. So you mean to tell me we regularly review guidance? How much guidance do you need to work in a garden? I could understand training to work in a garden, but you regularly receive guidance from the guild to tell you how to treat their employees or your employees? Does that sound strange? That you're regularly receiving guidance. That means that people are complaining often and that they feel a need to write down or record or something procedures for treating the gardener. I didn't know that gardening was that flipping passionate. What is going on out there? What are you growing? This sounds so strange to me. Highgrove has also seen many positive developments since King Charles's foundation became the charitable custodian of the garden. Since 2022, the operating profits has more than doubled. A new education facility teaching traditional heritage skills to hundreds of students has been established, and visitors numbers continue to reach over 40,000 annually. So, in other words, the money we take in is going toward educating the future gardeners of the world. So that way, as we run down the staff that we have, as we belittle and berate them, we will have some young, healthy candidates waiting in the wings. That's what that means. That we're training their replacements. When they start crying out that they can't take it anymore, then we'll just simply replace them. I think that's what that means. I tell you, I don't know that this is so helpful, but then again, people who want to see this as a good thing will see it as a good thing. I see it as someone trying to cover themselves, trying to cover their behinds because of the horrible treatment that the staff at Highgrove received. I've worked a lot of places, and I don't know that I've ever had to file a grievance against anybody for that matter. Stressful work. And yet, someone planting bulbs or trimming hedges and such, they are on the brink of collapse. I'm pretty sure working in that garden, whenever they see those childbearing hips headed their way, they probably start sweating and panting and trying to hide somewhere. What do you think? Could you imagine that? Charles come walking up on you with them big childbearing hips and puffy hands and got that crazy look in his eye. All you could do is hide. I mean, that's about all you can do is just try to hide. What else can you do? So he won't look at something and say, "Oh God, Camilla, I told them to move those begonias the other day. They've ruined everything. I mean, look at that. They're just out in the sun working. It don't even look like you have time to talk. Oh, you know what? I just noticed. Why are they using those hand tools? Because Charles doesn't want them to use anything with a battery. He doesn't want them to use anything that has gasoline or whatever. He would prefer they do things the old fashioned way. This is how he's wearing them out. They got things that can trim that so neat and sweet. But look at them. They're doing it the old fashioned way. Chop, 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 chop. Yeah, I would want to get out of there too. I'd want to get out of there too. Have you seen them though? Charles has those huge childbearing hips. It is quite a sight. It is quite a sight. And then he likes to walk through the garden like he's on a runway. Yeah, like he's on Project Runway. I'm embarrassed for him, actually. I really am. I am embarrassed for him and those big swivel hips. Let me see if I can find them. Let me see. What day was that? Let me take a look. I'll show you what I mean. It's the darndest thing, but you know what? They should never let cousins marry. That's what happens when cousins marry. You get those let me see. Is that it? Nope. Oh, was that the 21st? Let me see. Let me see. I'll show you what I'm talking about. I just think it's the darndest thing, though. Kind of weird looking. Oh, rats. I cannot find it. Well, I mean, after all, we are here, aren't we? So might as well see it through. Highgrove. I would like to go to Highgrove, though. I mean, I hear the gardens are really nice. I mean, say what you will about Charles, but I'm sure the gardens are nice. I wouldn't mind seeing it. But then again, I wouldn't want to, give him any money. Maybe if I just take him a Folsom Mason bag and put some, some money on top and put newspaper underneath, just give him a shopping bag. Be like, oh, this is for Charles, and just walk right through. Be like, oh, hi, this is for Charles. What you got there? A bag of money. Yeah, I can't find it. I can't remember what day that was. Oh well, never mind. So this has happened before, you guys. I think that things are so toxic over at Highgrove. I shared this before the other day. I'm sharing it again. Highgrove secretary claims racial abuse by Prince Charles staff. Now, this was back in 2001. What's his name there? Is it Michael Forsythe? Something Forsythe. He called her the N-word secretary, according to her. And that was not the first time that happened. She felt as though she was left out of key meetings and such. This guy, the one standing next to Charles there, He doesn't have much education. He pretty much came out of high school, if he finished, and went to work for Charles as a 19-year-old boy. He went to work for Charles. He has no discernible skills whatsoever except instructing people how to fill up a Folsom, what is it, Fortnum and Mason bag? That's his only skill, is telling people how to fill up bags full of other stuff. That's his job. Cash for honors. So I believe her. I believe her. But she had to quit because she had been harassed so much. And she is more than certain that Charles heard the exchange. As a matter of fact, we all know that Charles can hear like a gnat fart in Kansas. Charles' ears are so powerful that if a gnat in Kansas was to break wind, Charles could hear it. If a feather fell to the ground from 1,000 feet, Charles can hear it. It does not matter. Those ears pick up everything. Forward, backwards, they move. So there's no way that he didn't hear it. As a matter of fact, because of his ears, all sound is amplified. So she had to quit. Okay. And Kate and William's potential new home sparks row as King Charles concerned over costs. This is a leak. This is a leak. It ain't got nothing to do with the Sussexes. It never does. You see that? I Am Sage says, so Charles leaked that William and Kate are eyeing a grand mansion. And now he's leaked that they should move there because, they shouldn't move there because it'll cost millions to renovate. I love the iteration of War of the Windsor. I love this iteration of War of the Windsors. And that's what it is. They are not getting along, you guys. There is a complete breakdown in the House of Windsor. They love to point at Harry, when the truth is, Charles, Camilla, Kate, and William are not getting along. We saw that with the carriage at Ascot. Kate did not show up. She was supposed to ride in a carriage with them. William was there, but then again, he wasn't, if you know what I mean. He was there, but he wasn't there. But he was in the carriage. And even Camilla and Charles seemed rather estranged from each other that day. So all of that adds up that there is some bad blood in the House of Windsor. It has nothing to do with Harry. The press has done everything they could to pull the Sussexes into this. But I promise you, none of this has anything to do with them. All this stuff about, whether Harry will see the king or won't see the king, and the king hasn't seen his grandchildren, which he don't care about anyway. He doesn't see the Wells's kids either. He doesn't see them. He's not spending time with them. This is not a traditional, oh, I'm going to go over to my grandma's house. No, they don't have that stuff. It strikes me that under King Charles, royal family has never been so deeply unpopular. Might he be the last monarch? And from there were a few people who put their 2 cents in, like this one here. It's pretty obvious that the moment the real queen passed away, Charles has been struggling to get people to love him the way they loved his mother. William is a lazy man child who spends his waking hours attacking Harry instead of him trying to do good and being productive. Someone else said, yes, he's a complete failure as king. I don't think William is going to be any better. But as an American, I really have no say. Next, King Charles is the head of the Church of England, and he is the defender of one faith. If he can't fulfill his duty, then he shouldn't. Then he should abdicate, should I say? I have always been pro-monarchy until now. Charles isn't doing his duty to our faith, which is the largest in the UK. And I believe they're referring to the Church of England. Next one. Charles was never popular. Going back to when he was when he was young, and he was always seen as a wet blanket. Then we had the Diana Gate, and what is that? The Squid Tapes era. Yeah, Squid Tape era. Everyone loved Diana, and he couldn't cope with that. I remember on their engagement when they were asked if they were in love. Diana said, of course. Charles said, whatever love is. He is an embarrassment to the UK, and William will be the same. And lastly, no, not my king. Embarrassment to his late mother. So these are not squatties, by the way. I don't believe any of these are squatties. Well. I could not resist. I couldn't help myself. The very famous American Gothic, that is what that painting is called. It is at the Art Institute of Chicago. Grant Wood was inspired by the house that you see in the background. It is a house with a very Gothic window. And so he painted, I believe, I think that is a dentist and his sister. Yeah, but anyway, in this version, it's Will and Kate. Yeah, it's Will and Kate. There's the original. Now, it looks kind of strange, but he elongated her neck for whatever reason. But in reality, this is what they look like. Oh, by the way, I'll show you that in a minute. That is the house. It is still standing. That is the actual house. American Gothic house, built in 1881 for Charles Dibble family. The Carpenter Gothic style house has three features most notable in the painting. Gothic window with pattern resembles a curtain. Oh. The steep pitch of the roof, board and batten siding. Oh, okay, board and batten siding. I never heard that before. All three were unusual home features for the time. They could be what caught Wood's eye when he noticed a very paintable house during his 1930 visit to Eldon. And Eldon is a town in Iowa. So yes, that house is in Iowa and it is still standing. Yes, It's a very peculiar looking couple, and so are they. But that fits them perfect. It really does. Anyway, that is the actual couple. Now, she was concerned about being recognized. So, as you can see, he elongated her neck and narrowed her face. I don't know why she thought that was necessary or he thought that was necessary, the artist, but there you go. Um, I think she was concerned about being mistaken for husband and wife when she's actually his sister. So there you go. They were the ones that posed for that famous painting. And that painting has been reimagined in so many ways, thousands of ways. It has been reimagined. If you just go on Google and you search American Gothic, you will find, I guess you could put meme, American Gothic memes, and you will find 1,001 pictures where they have changed the subjects to suit whatever the occasion. And lastly, this is it for tonight. Gosh, was that Zandy Sussex that posted that? Oh, I forgot who posted it. Maybe it was Sussex Soldier. But anyway, I love that illustration of the Duchess of Sussex. Very beautiful. Okay. Sorry, I went over a little bit, like about an hour over. But I think I need to rest my voice. Okay, love you guys. I will see you all next time. Thank you, moderators, for keeping this a very safe space. And I will see you soon, like tomorrow.